As you guys know, and you see the title and you see the notifications and you see, certain things. First and foremost, before I even start, today is a day where I'm going to pretty much explain my truth, my it's, things that I have pretty much withheld from just being public. Because again, I don't owe anybody any sort of explanation. Just simply tired of my name being dragged through the mud day in and day out on a topic that people don't know anything about. It has, for the last 2 years, fucked me up, for lack of better words. It has fucked me up mentally, emotionally. It has taken a fucking toll on me. And I've questioned my own sanity sometimes. With all this situation, whether it's from people directly involved or people not involved. This is also going to get put on YouTube, and I want this to essentially be the last time that this topic is talked about. I want to move forward from it. I want to make sure that I articulate what I feel, what I've felt for the last year and a half, 2 years. Very nervous in the sense of like really just becoming very vulnerable, and it's live. Like there's no cuts. Like I can't just edit things out. Please bear with me. I left a group setting 2 years ago for multiple reasons. I felt like there was no loyalty. I felt like there was no respect. I felt like there was no acknowledgement for things that I was doing for these people. As you guys know, I lost a really good friend of mine almost 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And it was one of the hardest fucking things that I think I've ever dealt with in my life. I cope with these feelings, these thoughts, the best way that I possibly can. And it has come out in different ways. I don't wish that experience onto anyone. When all that happened, I truly lost myself. There are people in my life currently where it has become a little bit easier to talk to about. And one of the reoccurring things that I say is that I truly don't think that I have processed that situation, that event. I, for 6 months, give or take 6 months after the accident, I didn't know who I was, what I was doing, and I was very fucking lost. I was a fucking mess. And some of the things that I turned to was being an anchor to those around me and the people that Corey cared for. And then that was it. I was trying to be an anchor while I was slowly, like, I was like losing myself 100%. I turned to, obviously you guys have seen like art and shit like that I've done that kind of like is a little bit of a representation of like what I was feeling and what I was kind of going through. But I was still hurting. While I was living in this house, in the house, everything seemed fine until one day I had someone offer to edit a video for me. I want to use the correct pronouns so I don't send hate to anyone. But this person offered to edit a video for me, and when they were done editing the video for me, they gave me their laptop. On their laptop, I was watching the video. It was like a 10-minute video or something like that back when I was still posting YouTube videos. And on their laptop, a message popped up while I was watching the video. And if you guys know, on a laptop or on a Mac, there's a message that pops up on the top right where whenever you're having a conversation, whether it's on your phone or whatever, it still pops up. And this message read something Oscar. It was a very random message. And though I don't agree with this at all, I did get curious and I opened said message. In this message between two individuals that I thought I didn't have an issue with, everything was good. We would laugh. Every sort of encounter that these people and I would have was always, fun. It was always, there was no issue. But in the messages I found, these two individuals were essentially making fun of the video that I made for Corey, saying that, why is he crying? Kind of like invalidating every single feeling that I was expressing, invalidating my reasonings for the video, absolutely tarnishing the entirety of it. They pretty much said, why is he laughing, or why is he crying? Can't he see that we see through the tears? And it fucked me up mentally. I can't tell you guys my exact feeling as to how I felt, but I felt sad. I felt betrayed. I felt as though I wasn't really respected. It just, everything under the book. There was two individuals that I felt I was very, very close to. One of them didn't live in the house. The other one did. They were both there, and I asked them to come into my room because I still had said laptop. And I showed them for my sanity. And I asked, hey, am I tripping, or am I reading this right? Both individuals stated, that's fucked up. Why would they say that? My initial reaction was to attack the issue head on. These two individuals essentially said, no, do not do it, because you're going to cause more problems. You're going to cause more problems. After really sitting with my thoughts, I kind of like gathered every piece of evidence. And I was like, you know what? Let me try it this way first. Let me actually listen to another person's perspective and another person, like other people's perspective, and maybe just like not attack. So I did that. I kind of acted as though like I never saw these messages and left it alone. Put a smile on my face. They said just pretty much to not say anything and to kind of like not fully disassociate yourself from these people, but like, you know, kind of like do it in a way where it's not problematic. I did that. I trusted them. Ended up giving this person the laptop back. Said thank you. I even paid them for editing the video. And I kept it pushing. Well, with this knowledge that I essentially gathered and had now, I started to disassociate myself in the best way that I could possibly disassociate myself. I think probably, I want to say like a month after, you know, kind of finding this out, I was sitting in the living room with a couple of people, you know, friends and people that would come over, and I got asked to go to this fair. Well, this company had hit me up and was like, hey, listen, like, do you want to go to a fair? You know, all inclusive, like you'll have security, you'll have tickets, this, that, and the fourth. And I was like, okay, bet. I'm down. I asked everybody around me. They said, yeah, let's go. I'm down. So that was it. I sent the text and said, cool. Well, the very next day, one of the individuals came over along with someone else. And this person was like, when were you going to let us know that you were doing XYZ? Well, instead of being, you know, problematic and all that shit, I kind of lied. And I was like, oh, sorry, like there was just, you know, only, you know, XYZ. They were, you know, first come, first serve type of vibe. I lied to avoid any conflict because I didn't want to start issues. I wanted to avoid, you know, any sort of confrontation because I knew if I would get pushed to a certain limit, I would just come out with everything. So I lied and I was like, well, no, this happened and, you know, we're doing it this way. Like we're going, you know, I'm sorry. I apologize. I said, I'm sorry. Well, over the course of like maybe 2 or 3 months after that, that person and I had a little bit of tension. That tension kept rising anytime they would come over to the house. They would always complain about, you know, who we would have over at the house that I was living at, the house that I was paying, you know, rent for. This person would be very vocal on, you know, whether the house was cold or, you know, it wasn't cold, and it was just little shit just started to add up. Come my birthday, there was 2 people. There was like another person kind of like helping me plan, you know, certain things to do out in Miami. So a lot of us went to Miami for my birthday. If you guys remember, like it was a whole thing. It was really cool, you know, very much enjoyable and one of the best experiences that I had with some of the individuals, and I wouldn't change that for the world. One of the people that essentially had ridiculed and had, disrespected this video came along. No, both of them actually came along to the trip. It was just a big ass trip. While on this trip for my birthday, one of those individuals, for lack of a better word, is just complaining throughout the entirety of the trip. I shrugged it off, kept it fucking pushing. I tried my best to pay it no mind. Anytime something would arise, I would kind of go to those two original people and be like, hey, listen, like I am at my wit's end. Mind you, this person has no idea that I know what they had said, and they were acting this way. But I still kept it pushing, took it on the chin, came back to LA from Miami, and things kind of got progressively worse. This person ended up having, some sort of event and put everybody into a group chat. And I didn't find out through this person. I found out through the original two people. And they're like, yeah, XYZ, whatever. And then within an hour or so after finding out, they had texted the person having the event texted me. This person pretty much said that I'm having an event. I only want people, and this is just a more summarized version of it. I want my friends to come, but since we've had tension over the last few months, I don't know where we stand, and I want to invite people, and I want to have people come and celebrate and be a part of this event that I think are deserving of being there. So as I'm reading this text message, I got a little bit angry, and I said to myself, okay. And I responded like I think anybody would. And I said, hey, if you have to text me a reasoning as to why you're not inviting me and you're saying that I'm not deserving of being there, do not invite me. If you have to go out of your way and give me an explanation as to why you're not inviting me, although, again, I know in the back of my mind you don't fuck with me and you don't respect me, and then so on and so forth. Don't sit here and invite me, or don't sit here and give me an explanation. Just leave it alone. I wasn't going to go anyway. I didn't care to go anyway. So I sent the message, and the message pretty much came back as, I knew you were going to respond this way, just like you are, very defensive and so on and so forth. And instead of kind of like, and that was kind of like more added fuel now. Now, this person has no idea why I feel a certain type of way, whatever, still withholding information, this, that, and the fourth. Left it alone, didn't say anything, kept it fucking pushing. I didn't go. I saw everybody go. I was not upset, but it hurt, right? Because no one knew, no one was feeling the way I was feeling. Again, I was still, fast forward to today, me right now, there's things that I have not processed, and I don't think I will ever process correctly. I felt alone. I had a lot of, shit just overcome me. Again, I was supposed to be this anchor for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just very like, whoever fucks with us or with you guys, I'm always the front line. And I proved that to be the case, 10 out of 10 times, sorry. This is when I started feeling alone. because and there was two people that knew, and everybody else kind of just like went about their way, still interacting with these people XYZ. Well, that event happened, and I guess word. I don't know if it was intentional, not intentional from one of the individuals, but they kind of started to plan things and not invite certain people, like the two individuals that knew, because they were closer to me, if that makes sense. So they were closer to me, so they weren't getting invited either. And then they kind of started feeling left out, if that makes sense. So they were purposely being left out because they were interacting with me. And now there was a little bit known tension that me and said person had, which sucked. And I felt as though I was responsible for these people. I tried my best to like kind of like understand their ideas and reasonings and so on and so forth. But I want to say like a few more times happened where all three of us were now grouped into this like situation where we weren't getting invited because I had tension with said people. And one day they pretty much were like, "Hey, XYZ," I guess behind the closed doors. And they had told me this, that they did it afterwards. But they said that, "Hey, just because you have problems with Oscar, don't group us into this situation or whatever the fuck, because we are feeling left out for whatever reason." When these people told me what, like that conversation, I felt clout was more important, or these certain situations, these certain scenarios were more important than like I guess the morale of the shit. Like why would you want to associate yourself? I was like, why do you still want to be associated with these people? And so, you know, that started a little bit of tension between me and now the people that know what was going on. With whether it was right or wrong, I felt as though there was no loyalty there. And I think my wrongdoing was sort of expecting there to be loyalty because of everything that I had done, um, you know, prior, years prior, pretty much. Uh, and that's how I felt. I went to one person directly first, and I was like, "Hey, listen, like this isn't really your issue, but I know there's something going on, and I just want to clarify as to why I am acting, whether it's irrational or I'm acting a certain way, and XYZ." Well, I told this person about the text message and the video and so on and so forth, and they were like, "Yeah, it's fucked up." I essentially just went to everybody and told them, and to a lack of better words, they pretty much was like, "Well, not really our issue. So you have to essentially take it up with her. Like, sure, that's fucked up, but hey, we're not into we're not. It's not our issue." I think where I fucked up is where I expected loyalty and some sort of comfort from certain people, and I didn't get that. I thought that I was going to get a level of consideration for, certain things that I've done, some sort of acknowledgement, and like, hey, like, no, that's fucked up. Like, that's actually fucked up. I would never in a million years interact with someone like that, XYZ. All I got was fucked up. And I think where shit went left for me was that I had an expectation and a standard for those around me And I felt as though, like, yes, you don't owe me anything, but at the end of the day, just please have my back, because I've done nothing but have your back this entire fucking time. All I'm asking is for you to have my back. So the decision was made. I went, let everybody know, what had happened, and then I reached out to both individuals. One of the individuals actually had come by for something, and I had a conversation with them outside, and I pretty much told them, "Hey, listen, this is why I've been acting like this towards you." And while having this conversation, I wasn't upset mad, I was upset sad. So it upset me to the point where I was like, yo, like, you guys know what I dealt with. You guys know internally, like, you guys saw me, like, fucked up. And you guys were supposed to be like a friend to me and all this shit, and you guys, all you did was make fun of it, as though like Corey was never a friend to me. It's not about who knew him more or whatever the fuck the case was. And so I was like, yo, like, you guys treated that whole entire video as though like I was just some random fucking person making a video, and you guys didn't think for a second of what the fuck it was that I was actually dealing with. And it really fucked me up. And this person's response was, shit, bro, like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you felt this way. I'm sorry that I caused this. I can tell you that I don't remember having that conversation, but you're telling me that it's true, and you're coming to me, you know, you're coming to me and letting me know XYZ. So I'm sorry. Had like a weight off my shoulders for a second with this person, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I don't really respect you, but I appreciate you, apologizing, whatever the fuck. So after having a conversation with one of the individuals, I formed a note, right? On December 19th, 2021. This was what? 2 years ago. About to be 2 years ago. Where and it literally says 2000, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's there. I haven't even touched this shit. Where you can literally see everything. Where I explained to this person that I had tension with, and was the other individual on the other side of the message. I waited for an entire month, because I would still see this person here and out type of thing, like here and there type of vibe. An entire month after sending that long ass message. Not a single response. So then I said, you know what? The fact that and I remember this, and I said, the fact that I waited an entire month in hopes that I would get a clear reasoning as to why or whatever the fuck, and I got nothing, was kind of like, that's it. And I just left it at that. It's out there, and everybody knows in this circle knows. But they were still having, get-togethers, all this shit, whatever the fuck. So now that I had explained everything, told everybody everything, whatever the fuck, and people were still interacting with these people interact, like they were just kind of like, oh, like shrug your shoulders, like it is what it is, like type of vibe. I was like, oh, okay, none of these people give a fuck about what I have to say at all. So now it just started to form a thing that caused me sadness to now having resentment for these individuals, because had this had happened to someone else, I think, in my opinion, it would have been handled a whole lot differently. In my eyes, I had done so much. I had done so much for everyone, in my eyes, from my POV, that I didn't receive anything at all. I never asked for anything. I just kind of like did it off my whim, because that's just how my loyalty works. Like if I call you my fucking friend, like you're my friend. When it came down to being around these people, I was just like, I don't even want to be around them, because I don't get respected. There's no loyalty here. No one really cares. So why be in a scenario where no one really gives a fuck? So then that was my kind of like, okay, yo, I'm not gonna live with you guys. I'm kind of like gonna do my own thing, slowly moving forward while still having these sort of conversations with people. I started to see sort of movements that were like really like out of pocket for me, where it's like, yo, like it's more of a monetary gain and whatever the fuck else it is more than anything. Well, during this situation, there was another individual inside this group. They started a rumor that I had put my fucking hands on a female. I have never in my fucking life, and I can put this on on my mother's life, on my life, on this tattoo. I have never in my life gone as close to even hurt someone, touch someone of the opposite sex like that. And when I heard that, that's the fucking like the trigger of like, oh yeah, nah, these people are not for me. I'm very confrontational. I have not had the best re- female relationships, like the best relationships with dating. I am a very, outspoken person, but to try to paint this picture of that I've touched a female in that way, that really triggered me. So now I have, a group of people, not a group of people, but a select few people, doing this thing, this one person doing this, and it was all, within that same circle. So I was like, you know what, bro, like this is not for me, because I with all due respect, bro, like I'm here to let everybody fucking know, with all due respect, not a single fucking person at that time had a fucking backbone at all. Not a single fucking person had anything to say. Everybody just shut the fuck up. And that's what really that's what really fucked me up. And not a single person said anything, did anything, nothing. There's a lack of respect, a lack of loyalty for me at this point. Maybe not the before, but at this point. And I started to see certain movements. All these things arose, and I said what I said to them privately. I said, listen, if you have a problem with how I say things, how I do things, how I carry my own self, my character, my morale, whatever the fuck the case is, that's a you issue. I am not going to change for a single fucking person in this world. I was brought on this earth to be exactly who I am today. A fuck ton of issues or whatever the fuck case is, and I'm not changing for a single person. So if you have an issue for how I react I could give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about money. I trust me when I say this, bro. I don't care about money. I do not care about clout. I don't care about anything of that. I care about my well-being and my family's well-being. Everybody just shrugged their shoulders. He's just being out of pocket, overreacting. It's just him. Leave it be. Let's just, not say anything. Cool. All right. So I wiped my hands clean. Over the course of probably like 2 months after really leaving, I get a text message from someone. This is what really hurt the most. In May of not this year, but last year, I got a text message and it said, "Hey, I'm having this here. Would you like to come?" Hadn't spoken to anybody. Not a single person had ever texted me saying, "Yo, how you been? XYZ, whatever." No one reached out, nothing. But I was like, you know what? I'm down. Because May will forever be engraved in my brain, whether I like it or not. So I went. When I stepped foot in this setting, I felt nothing more than an outsider. I felt nothing more than an outsider. I felt as though I was just there, feeling alone in a very populated setting. It felt uncomfortable, but I stayed there for about maybe 45 minutes. No one really talked to me. No one really said anything. I felt out of place. A group of people where I felt as though I called my friends, treated me like an outsider. So I stayed there for maybe like 45 minutes and I just left. Since that moment, I truly haven't had a conversation with anyone throughout, the last year and a half, I guess, since that moment. Not a single person has reached out to me. Not a person has said anything. Everything is brushed under the rug. In May, that was the last conversation that I had. Last May, not a single one wished me a happy birthday. That hurt me. So all of these little moments that may be little for other people really started to build that resentment. It had built a lot of resentment for a lot of different reasons and a lot of different individuals. Then comes the internet side. Like I said, I'm a very outspoken person. I have a tough exterior, but seeing the negative comments that have been posted about me on the internet with zero to no correct information just because I act or react a certain way is fucked up. And although I don't react the right way every single time, and I should, again, it's really built up shit. And out of respect for some people that I actually respected, I guess fast forward to this year, May rolls around. I'm kind of left to deal with certain things myself where I kind of just try my best to deal with everything head on. But dealing with something that I haven't truly processed entirely by yourself and seeing other people that were in that same scenario have people to lean on really fucked me up. Through that, I reached out to a couple people and never got a response. I've tried to over the last maybe year or so reach out to a select few, extend my hand even through all of this shit, even with all the reasonings that I believe that I believe I have to not. I try to reach my hand out, try to reach out in the sense of like, hey, like, do you need help? You know what I'm saying? Do you need anything? Like, are you guys good? So just I left it alone. I got to a point where, you know, it is what it is. Um, I'm gonna keep trying to do this shit myself, pretty much.